I didn't grow up with a good father. I didn't grow up really with a father. I didn't have a strong role model. And I think that there's so many young men and women out there that didn't have a strong role model, maybe a mother or a father. And I think that it makes our relationships with people so much more harder to navigate. And I'm Dan from Live Life in Your Frame, and I created this channel because I had to learn everything the hard way. And by that, I mean I had to make all the mistakes in order for me to learn, because no one taught me them. And although I had a great mother, I have a great mother, she would do anything for me, but she would just do everything for me. It was like mothering instinct is to nurture. So she would nurture me, and I'd fall on the ground, and it's like, Dan, you're okay. Like, let me make you feel better. Like, it's okay. If kids bullied me, Dan, it's okay. And which is great. I think we need that nurturing side, that feminine energy. But then I didn't have this other side, this masculine side that was like, hey, get back up. You can fight again. Get back up your skateboard. Like, it hurts. Yeah, I know it hurts, but you'll be fine. You can do it. And some bullies come. You know what, Dan? You need to fight back. You need to learn how to fight back, because eventually something's going to happen in life, and you're going to walk down an alley, and there's not going to be anyone there to defend you. So fight back. And I never had that. So I had one side, but I didn't have the other. And I guess some people didn't have either, and they had to learn how to navigate the world and relationships without having a mother and a father. And all props to you, because I think that is like, you had to have the nurturing. You didn't have the nurturing side. You didn't have the father side that was like, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. The motivation, and it's like, I think for myself, it has just been complete struggle. My whole life is just me struggling into everything I've done, because I've never had the ability to have full conviction in myself and full confidence in myself that I can complete something, that I can annihilate it, or I can accomplish this task. It was always me just having to struggle to find out and to figure it out. And yeah, I would have loved to have had a great father. I think that for us that never had that, I think we would have loved to. And for myself is that I challenged him, and he was around, so which made it more difficult. Some people, their fathers are gone, and they realize, hey, I need to find a new role model. He was somewhat around, so I had to look at this guy, and I kept thinking, he's not a good role model. This guy doesn't seem like a good father. I've been comparing him to friends that I had that had good fathers, and it took me until my 20s to realize that this guy does not know anything about life. And I know now he's completely unhappy, and I had to try to get this father relationship until my 20s, and then realized, I remember going to a therapist, and he said, you have to let him die. You have to let him die off, because this guy's not going to change. He's not going to be the father that you want. And as much as that was very difficult for me, it was finally the first time that I was able to let go and let my life kind of just, now it's time for me to learn. Now I'm not going to get that person, because I wanted someone to help me. I wanted someone to say, hey, you can do it. And I think it's always instilled in me that I have to do things, and it's going to be more challenging. But in the end, I've learned things the hard way. So it's been I had to put my hand on the hot stove to realize what it meant to not put your hand on the hot stove. That was how I had to learn. And some of us, that we have to learn the hard way in order to learn. And I think that if if we had those people in our lives, maybe we wouldn't have learned as good. So now I think that I would not take it back, because it makes me understand things to a higher degree than I would if I had someone like a great father that would have told me. And not saying that, like, if I had a kid, I want to be a great father to him. I would want to, definitely, because I wouldn't want him to go through what I had to go through. But it has made navigating relationships very difficult, having to not, because having a mom, she was raising 3 young boys on her own, and she knew nothing about being a man, growing up as a man. She knew nothing, but she was just doing the best that she could. And as a young boy growing up into a man is like, where else are we getting this information from? How are we figuring out how to be a man? How are we figuring out how to be strong, but also be soft in a way, like be kind, but also be very strong and protective and of your family and things like that, and having to navigate both masculine energies and also feminine energies, because there is no, if you have just the masculine guy, like the masculine and not the feminine, you're going to be messed up, because you're not going to have any of the soft, the feminine energies. And I'm not saying that they're soft. Equal energies, I think, are equally important. But when we have just one out of balance, then we have a tough time in this, like, navigating the world. So it was like I had the feminine side, like kind and caring and listening and all these things, but I did not have the protective and aggressive and ambitious, like, masculine energies. And so it was very hard to have to learn those and then bring them and then kind of navigate them together and have it affect the relationships that I had with friends and girlfriends and things like that. And I think that it has been really tough. And to other people that have gone through that, maybe they had a horrible mother or horrible father, they know that it never goes away. And I think that it's always instilled in you. You have this, like, part of you that it's just is not, we didn't get those needs. And I think even if you had a great mom and a great father, we still never get our needs met completely. But basically what our problems are, which we have to understand, is that is our unmet needs as children. We are still living as an adults, but living as if we didn't get our needs met as children. And so it doesn't even have to be traumas, but it's just like we didn't get a need met as a child, so now we're still trying to get that fulfilled. Like, we didn't get that we didn't feel loved at a certain time in our life when we were young, and we could have had great mothers and fathers, and now when we're in relationships with our husband or wife, we still don't get that love. And it has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with just our unmet needs as we were children. And I think when I was in therapy school, I learned much more about this, and that's why I think it was like I didn't realize it was the awareness of what is really going on. Like we have to be really highly aware, or else we're just going through life, and then we're like, well, why are we behaving this way? Or why do I act this way? Or why do I want these things? And we don't even understand why, because really, if we go, it all goes back to childhood. Everything goes back to childhood, how we were treated. And for some reason, like for myself, I had a lot harder time navigating the world without having a father figure than my older brother and also my younger brother. So two other men that are boys that were only 2 years apart, they didn't have as much problem. They didn't have as much, it didn't affect them as much. But for whatever reason, my age, not having the father figure around, that affected me a lot more. And who knows why? And I think that it's probably just me as my soul, what I needed and I didn't get, and maybe that their life direction, they didn't need it as much. And who knows, maybe my soul path, whatever is, it has to do with having these, like, explaining this more, because I had to understand it more. And the only way to understand things is to learn it the hard way, right? It's like, why do you think people who become millionaires, they lose all their money and then they can get it back really quick? Because they learned that they learned the hard way. Okay, I lost it, but I know I can get it back. And it's why if a guy who is always with a girl, or a girl that always has a boyfriend, she loses the boyfriend or girlfriend, she knows how to get another guy back, right? It's like we have learned how to get hurt. We've learned how to excel from getting burned. We've learned how, especially if you've not just, like, there's some people that say, okay, I've been hurt, I'm never gonna do it again. I lost all my money, I was a millionaire, and I'm never gonna do it again because I don't wanna lose money and I don't wanna get hurt. And those people, that's a different story. But I think for most of us, if we learn things the hard way, we learn them for good. And we learn them, like, more instinctively, intuitively than anyone could tell a story, right? It's like you can't even describe to you the feelings that I have unless you've gone through the same thing. And so I think that makes us, if people have gone through the same thing, then that means that we share something. So I think that I wish that there was more people that I knew that were, when I was younger, that didn't have fathers, because all I saw, my best friends growing up had great fathers, and I know that, and it wasn't like that I just saw that, because I know that because I know them, and they were really close to their fathers, and they would look at my father and be like, what the that's not what a father does. And I would look at that and I would be like, something is wrong. And so I think that made the comparison so much different and made it so much harder. So it's made challenging everything, navigating through life, through jobs, through business, through everything, so much more difficult. And I think for other people that have been in that situation, is just understand that you're learning things. And these are all stuff that you are learning. And yeah, you're never going to get those needs met. I'm always going to want to have a father, and I had to mourn him, but it doesn't mean that he goes away forever. Like, we mourn relationships, but we still have a piece of us that is always going to be grieving. And just like when I lost my dog, like, I was looking at pictures of him earlier and I started crying because I was like, he had passed away. It's been over 2 months now. And although I don't cry as, like, I was crying daily for like first month, I don't wake up in tears. I would wake up in tears. I don't wake up in tears, but I will still cry every day. And it just gets, I guess, easier along the way, but it never goes away, because I don't think that love will ever be replaced, and I don't want it to be replaced, because it was a special relationship that I had with him. And maybe that instead of mourning like my father, is like we spend that time and energy on people that deserve it. Like, my dog was, like, to me, my father could die. He's still alive, but I would mourn my dog more than him any day, because we were closer. And I think if you have ever had an animal or whatever, I'm off topic on that, but it shows you that some people, that we don't get to choose what we get in life. We don't get to choose relationships. We don't get to choose great parents or great siblings. So we have to kind of just live with what we have and what we've got, like, and just go through life. So hopefully, if this has made any sense to you, or if you've connected, you feel anything from this, let me know in the comments. I know it's a difficult thing if you've gone through it or going through it. Hopefully it helps, but just know that it's unmet needs that we had when we were children, and we still are never going to get them met.